Hello, everyone. So, I'm having a little bit of fun doing these lives at different times. So, right now, it's almost 7 a.m. in Australia, where I am. So, I thought, you know what? Let's just see who's about this morning. But either way, I wanted to do this recording. So, if you're watching as a recording, thank you. I appreciate you. If you could hit the like button, that would be great. If you haven't already subscribed, please do that as well. So, what are we talking about today? I want to talk about judgments. One of the biggest things that we do as human beings is judge others and ourselves. Now, we're all entitled to our own opinion. That, yes, of course. But one of the things that we tend to do a lot more is judge ourselves really harshly, especially when we make a mistake. So, what happens is we decide to do something. For example, I'm doing this live now. I did one yesterday. The challenge is that with this, I get nervous, but you put me on stage talking about what I love, talking about all those amazing things. And I'm like, yes, I've got this. And I'm ready. I get out there and I do the conversation. But at the end of it, I sit there and I think, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. All of this. If you're watching this live, please say hi. Love to know who is here and where you're from. Back to my story. Judgments. When we judge ourselves and criticize, as I said, I will sit back and I will review this and I'll think, I've done this wrong. I could have done that better. Well, maybe I could have, or maybe, just maybe, it was enough as it is. Maybe I did my best. Did I stop and say, wow, I did this wrong, right? I excelled at this. This was really good. Did I do any of that? Often we don't. Often, and we can be our own worst critics, sitting in judgment of ourselves. Have you ever had that experience where you've gone and done something, even though you're a bit nervous, and you sit and you think about it afterwards? It might have been a presentation. It might have been something else that you did. Maybe you went out with friends and you thought, maybe I was a bit too chatty. Or maybe you don't judge yourself at all. Maybe you sit and think, it's all good. I am who I am. I don't need to change any aspect of myself. What do you do when you are judged? How do you approach it when you are judged? Do you feel stressed? Do you feel anxious? Like, what is it that you do? Do you take it on board? As someone who is neurodivergent, and I often refer to this, I have felt so judged at times because I can overshare, because I can appear blunt. I can appear like I don't care. And I get judged for it. It's like, oh, you didn't take the time to ask me about me. And it's something that I literally do forget to do sometimes. I sometimes will start a conversation, especially with someone that I know, and I'll go, hi, how are you? Anyway, so about this scenario, about this situation. And if you watched yesterday's video, or the one on stress. I talked about this a little bit too. But I often am so focused on what it is that I want to know or what I want to talk about that I sometimes do forget those social etiquettes. Now, as a person in their 50s, almost 60, I have grown up, especially being female, grown up having to mask my neurodivergent traits because that wasn't a thing when I was younger. But girls didn't have autism, girls didn't have ADHD, or at least not what we talked about. So my characteristics, my traits were often seen as, oh, that's just Jackie. That's just her. Yeah, okay, but Mary's Mary and Bill's Bill and Angela's Angela. Like everybody is different, right? So what if we stop the judgments? Because one of the biggest things as a neurodivergent person is I have to put that mask on. And I am a person that has a heart of gold and I feel deeply. And I wear my heart on my sleeve. You know that saying, your heart on your sleeve. And I feel things and then I show my emotions. And then I get judged for it and I get the criticism and then I feel that deeply and then I sit back and I judge myself. Should I have done this better? Should I have done that better? And the more I did that, the more I lost my own identity. I was like, what makes me laugh? And I reached a point quite a few years ago where it was like, oh my gosh, I'm too scared to be me. I was so scared to be me because of all the judgments and the criticism. I don't know if you've experienced this and you want to share in chat, just maybe put a heart or a flame or something like that. You don't have to do much. But if this is something that you have experienced, and I remember for me, it was like, well, people said, just be yourself. And I remember sitting in my bed one night after having a day out, but I didn't enjoy it. Normally I would. The people are amazing. But somebody said something very small as a joke, and I took it seriously because autism, literal. I didn't understand it was a joke. And I took it to heart. And I remember sitting in my bed that night reflecting about the day and judging myself and saying, I am the worst person in the world. Oh my gosh. Why would anybody like me? Maybe I shouldn't go out anymore. And I rang a friend the next day that I'd gone out with. And I said, hey, how are you? And she said, good. And I went, yes, I remembered the social niceties. And she said to me, I was about to ring you. Are you okay? Because when you left, you were very, very quiet. And that's one of the things I do if I'm feeling unsure, if I'm feeling judged, or if it's all too much, I go quiet. Because normally I talk a lot. You wouldn't know that, right? I'm joking. If you hang around long enough and we do more of these lives and we do more of these kind of open discussions, then you'll get to know my sense of humor. You'll get used to my voice as well. I have some vocal cord dysfunction, and some days my voice is really strong and I can project it, and other days it's husky, and so we take what we get, right? But this one night, I judged myself so harshly that I wasn't like oh, I have to end my life. It wasn't that kind of thing, but it was very challenging. And I sat in this huge judgment of myself that I am this person that is so not worthy because I upset somebody or I did something wrong. And I was feeling this. Now, it wasn't this one situation that led me there, it was a whole series of people telling me how I should be better or how I should do things differently. Wear your hair a certain way. Don't wear that color, wear this color. Don't have long hair, have short hair. Don't have short hair, have long hair. And because I take people literally, and because I embraced all of that, after leaving this event, I felt so low and like I was the worst person in the world. So the next morning, when I was talking to my friend who had organized the event, it was her event, the social event, she said, "I'm worried about you. Are you okay?" And I was trying not to go into the judgments and feeling sorry for myself, but she could tell by my voice, she could tell because I wasn't really animated as I normally am. And she said, "I know something's going on for you. What is it?" And I said, "I feel like I'm the worst person in the world. I feel like I need to change every aspect of my life, but I don't know who I am anymore." And she said, "Do you mind if I give you permission? Do you mind giving me permission to share with you how I see you?" And I said, "Sure." And she shared the things that of why we were friends. So I thanked her for that and decided to go for a walk by the beach. And I sat and I watched the waves for a while. And that got me thinking about the beach and how the waves we can see. So I don't know what beaches are like for you or where you live, but there's a couple of different beaches not far from me. And one can be like glass. It is so flat. It's like glass. And then another part of it, you just drive for half an hour and you get these massive waves. So it kind of goes around the cliff. And that next part is those massive waves. Surfers love that part. Jet skiers love the more crystal glass flatting, and it's really great for boating. And then you just go out and around a bit further and you're dealing with the ocean and the surface. It's incredible. And so I'd gone to both parts. And I remember sitting where the waves were and sitting there thinking, okay, those waves just choose to roll on in. And under the water, whether it's where the waves are rushing in or where it's crystal clear and still, is a lot of action going on. There's a lot of action going on under the surface that we don't see. And that got me thinking about me and judgments and the conversation that had happened at that dinner, that event. And I thought, hold on a minute. There's a lot that goes on with me, especially my head. Like my brain doesn't stop. I dream vividly and I am always thinking that I can become hyper focused as well, which is sometimes a good thing and sometimes not. And what I found is that I was judging myself so much worse than other people, and I was taking on their judgments, and that's why I lost who I am. That's why I felt like I don't know my own identity. Now, several years ago, so it would be over 10 years ago, I was working with a friend of mine who's a psychologist. I'd studied some psychology around behavior. It's a behavioral profiling course that I did. Also, health. I'm a personal trainer, a coach. So I've studied coaching and I do coaching. Lots of different things. I do lots of different things. And I was sitting with him one day and I said, I've written out all these questions to ask myself about who I am. And he looked at it and he said, oh, I love it. He said, this is an amazing tool. And then when I was looking at my business, I wrote out another set of questions around my business. And he said to me, okay, so what if for every question you have 5 choices? He said, and I want you to think of 5 different people. And so we did that. And then we came back to, okay, so this person, because a huge thing that I take my business clients through, so I do coaching with businesses and individuals. A huge thing that coaches, not just me, but coaches generally do is, who is your ideal client? And you actually create a profile. I call it a profile. Other people call it an avatar. And so what you're doing is you're describing every aspect of that person. Now, this is just so you can understand them a little bit more. So he knew that I had done that study. And so we sat down and I wrote out, okay, so person A, person B, right through to 5 people would answer this differently. But then I sat down and I wrote the traits out for each and every person. And then I wrote out their strengths. And then I went deeper and deeper and deeper. And a couple of months later, when he was back out from Canada visiting, I said to him, okay, so I've done this. And I handed him a folder this big. So it was a massive binder. And it was divided into 5 sections. And then in those sections, they were divided into 2. So technically 10 sections in this binder, right? Stay with me here. So I said to him, I've done all this. And he went, okay, do you expect me to read all this? And I, of course, read it in 5 minutes, please. And we laughed and we said, we need coffee for this. He looked at what I had done, which was effectively create 5 different profiles. And then I split those 2 profiles into business owners and individuals. And we went through it and then we grabbed the questions. Now, this took us about probably 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. He went away, he read it, he looked at it, he came back with a couple of small tweaks. But at the end of it, and I really expected him to come back with red all over it, and he didn't. Now, when I gave him the binder and then he came back and we were talking, he said to me, when you handed me that binder, you were expecting me to almost fail you, like tell you how wrong you are. And I went, well, yeah, because that's how I've spent most of my life, is people telling me how wrong I am. Their judgments and opinions of me is, and I have too many people in my life that give opinions unsolicited. So for me, I was trying to please everybody because I was such a people pleaser. But by doing this myself and going back to psychology books and going back to profiling books and all my study that I had done, and then thinking about personal training, I wasn't a personal trainer at that time, but I was thinking about, what my personal trainer takes me through. And then I was thinking about my health and my well-being, and I just looked at every aspect of my life where I constantly judged myself. And I went, hold on a minute, I don't know who I am. So how can I work out who I am if I don't know myself? How can I be myself and let those judgments just roll off me if I don't know myself? So that's how that exercise started. Now, that exercise evolved into, as I said, a massive binder of content that had been handwritten. And then some of it was typed up, and then there was handwritten notes, and there was stickies and all of this. He came back, as I said, with just a few tweaks. And I really valued his opinion. And then he said to me, can you please type it up? I want to take this to a friend of mine, but we also want to secure this as your content or IP. I went, sure. So we did some of the tricks of the trade of how to protect your IP back then when we didn't have this way of saving things, because we're talking over 10 years ago. And he took it to a couple of other friends of his, and one was a profiler with the FBI. He doesn't work there now, but he was an FBI profiler. And another one was another psychologist. Now, both of these people looked at this with the objective of giving honest, raw feedback. Like, they don't know me, and it was all about just this constructive feedback. And I gave them permission to use this red pen to mark it. It came back with hardly any changes. Now, stay with me for this, because this was the birth of my individual and business personality profile quizzes. And the reason I did them was born out of me working out who am I. It was birthed out of me brainstorming and then thinking about who are the people that I would like in my life. And it's not about not getting feedback. It's about, I don't want to be judged every 5 minutes. Or if people feel like they need to give me unsolicited advice or judgments or opinions, that I can just go, is that for me or is that not? Now, my journey and my life, and I have a book called Embodied Queen, and it actually takes you through a lot of that, has been where I have been morbidly obese. I have had health challenges. I have been assaulted. My stepdaughter was murdered. My story is quite a big one. And I have grown and changed through all of that. So now I still feel things deeply, but it's how I handle those judgments of others. And because I took the time to do all of that information around that profile quiz, which you can access for free, I've been able to now help other people. Because the beauty of this is that you do the quiz yourself for you. And the more you know you, the stronger you feel in yourself. So the first place, when letting go of judgments, that very first place is you. If you can let go of the judgments that you have for yourself and stand up tall and smile as often as you can, and you say, you know what? I am me. I love to wear pink. Okay, other people think I shouldn't. I love the way my hair is. Or no, I choose to change it. The more that you can let go of the judgments of yourself, the stronger that you feel. Because everybody's got an opinion. And everybody's got a thought. And it is true. Who you associate with most of the time can impact your reputation, especially if you're a business owner, or even how you're seen in the workplace. But some of the nicest, caring people I know have had a tough past. And on the outside, similar to when we look at the ocean, on the outside, they look rough, they look a particular way that a lot of people in my life would say, oh, why are you hanging out with that person? They've obviously done this wrong, and they make assumptions about these people. And yet some of those assumptions are right, but some of them are not. So coming back to the judgments, if you can not judge yourself so harshly, but look and do an assessment. What could I do better? Or you know what? I don't even need to watch that video because at the time, I did the best I could. At the time, it was right. The more you do that, the stronger you feel in yourself. Yes, we have the quiz. It's in the links. So when you read the description here on YouTube and you scroll down, the links are there. You can take the quiz. It's absolutely free. Because the more you know yourself, when people judge you, when people criticize you, you can go, no, whatever, whatever. Or you might take it on board and you go, actually, yeah, maybe I will change the color of my hair. Yeah, no, I was thinking of going a bit darker. Or, yeah, you're right. Maybe if I did go back to dark, yeah, my roots are dark. Yep, let's go back to that. Or actually, no, there's all these grays. So the blonde blends, like whatever you want. Or somebody might say, pink's not in this season or blue's not in this season. Yeah, but I love it. So, yes. What you think is funny to you. As long as you show respect to other people. And one of the things that I started to do, because I also work with a lot of businesses in the disability sector here in Australia, NDIS. And one of the things that I get all the time is when I say to people, hey, there's this change coming, and I give them the link, or I say to them, hey, I've got this new free resource, they will turn around and go, you're just trying to make money. Ironically, they're the same people that are providing services and making money. So go figure, right? But that used to get to me, the constant criticism of I'm handing out a free resource because I've done a video or I've got a book, more of a booklet, a guide. And I'll go, here it is, it's free. And I'll go, you're just trying to rip us off and make money. And I'm sitting there going, really? Are you not getting paid for your services? And I used to give them so much time. Have you ever had that where you just, somebody, what's that saying? They live rent free in your head. Yeah. So my question to you is, can you let go of the judgments of yourself first and love and accept who you are? And do you know who you are at a core level? Like, do you really know your traits, your core message of who you are? Because often our identity is created by what other people think she is or should be. So if you can start and really look at who you are as a person and love who you are, so if you can know you, be you, and accept you at a core level, that's where that strength will come from. And the rest of it is just talk. And you can go, yep, they're right, or no, they're not. So I know today I showed up for the best that I could for you guys. I've done the best I can. I can talk too much, so I don't want to. But I'm going to keep doing lives and I'm going to keep showing up, and people will either watch or they won't. I actually tried to do lunchtime, but I literally think that first thing in the morning is going to be better, especially in this house. So there's less noise, background, less interruptions. But I'm just going to keep showing up, doing the best I can. And if you keep showing up with me and you keep watching, or maybe watch the replay, you're going to get some gold for your life. You're going to get the free tips. And sure, I'm going to mention, please hit the like button. Please share. Please subscribe. I'm going to share with you when we launch Empowered Woman book. I'm going to share with you when we launch the memberships. And I'm going to keep it broad. And very soon, I'm going to start talking a little bit about how people handle stress or handle things differently. So I'm going to start introducing to you the different personality profiles. But I want to have a few other things ready to go first. So it's an easy transition for you if you want to do the quiz. But at the end of the day, please love you and please accept you because you are amazing. You really are. All right, I'm going to leave it here. I think 30 minutes of Jackie is enough. But please share, please like, please comment respectfully. Just going to ask for respect. That's all. We don't have to agree, but we can still be both right. So keep being you, keep being amazing, and this will buffer for a little bit. So I look forward to connecting with you again really soon. I think this time slot, I don't get as many people live, but you know, we consistently show up. Who knows? Maybe it'll grow. Either way, I get some content recorded as well. All right, guys, have an amazing day or evening wherever you are, and keep being amazingly you.